Yo, yo, yo. Welcome,
All right,
bots.
welcome back, everybody. We're back to our normal and original programming, as I would
Regularly
say.
scheduled programming.
Yeah. All right, let's just
All right,
start with this.
let's start with the bear thing, bro. Let's go with the bear thing. I want to really see
Do
what
the
this
bear
bear
thing.
thing.
5 weeks after a brutal grisly attack that tore off his lower jaw, Rudy Norlander is preparing to leave University of Utah Hospital and head home to Montana. News special Shara Park joined us live now from the hospital where Norlander shared a message of gratitude today. An incredible story here, Shara.
Yeah, Mike and Ashley, Rudy Norlander has had an incredible recovery, but it's been a difficult one. When asked today what has kept him motivated through all of this, he said it has been his family and his love of life and the thought that he'll take down that grizzly bear in round 2.
Wow.
What?
With a gentle wave, Rudy Norlander walked into today's press conference at the University of Utah Hospital with the support of his 2 daughters and his surgeon.
Oh,
It's been 5 weeks since Norlander was attacked by what he described as a 10-foot mega bear
Holy
in Big
shit.
Sky, Montana. He was helping a group of hunters locate an injured deer.
So he said he actually was glad that it was him and not somebody else.
During the attack, the bear tore off his lower jaw, bit his arms and legs, put a scratch on his chest, and collapsed his lung. He's had 3 surgeries, including a complete jaw reconstruction that took 10 hours to repair the damage.
10
So we did
hours.
a virtual surgical planning session, which allowed us to create a custom plate that was used to reconstruct his jaw and to also create what they're called cutting guides so that we could customize a flap from his fibula bone.
Norlander is now 15 days out from that major surgery and healing quickly.
We are working on getting Rudy eating, and maybe if he's really lucky, we'll have a root beer float waiting for you in the room. We'll see.
Norlander says while it's difficult to talk,
So much information.
A little, yeah.
what's kept him motivated is his family and a desire to return home.
He said, my job proves that most people are good and I can't wait to get back to it. And he also says, I will win round 2.
Today, Norlander saw his 2 grandchildren who live in California for the first time since the attack. His granddaughter described the emotional reunion.
I started crying because I was so
Granddaughter.
happy.
While
He's a
there are
granddad.
still months
Holy
of
shit.
therapy
Okay.
and minor
Yeah, bro.
surgeries ahead, Norlander is optimistic about making a full recovery.
The guy's a fucking
He says he's
machine, bro.
hopeful
Machine, bro.
his journey will inspire
Respect,
others.
brother.
Bro,
Respect.
the fucking pain. Yeah, bro. The pain and the fucking agony.
Oh, bro, but he's
going through that,
on like top
just-
tier. He's abhi to news mein, he's in the news right now.
Yeah, but at
so he's
that
on
very
top tier.
moment when fucking your jaw gets ripped out,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like, you know that like what happens in Revenant.
Initially there'll be a
movie
pain
with
initially, but then the adrenaline will kick in, and then your body will actually create a lot of adrenaline, and then it just calms down,
Yeah.
and then eventually, like the pain, right? The way in that intensity of the pain is going to be there, but then the strange thing is, as a human being, you kind of get used to it. Like most human beings, right? When pain is inflicted upon them, that initial wave, I guess, is really painful. And then it kind of you kind of get used to it. Your body goes, yeah. I know that pain exists, and I'm managing it. And there's all these other things. But he had collapsed lung. He had what else did he have? He had like stuff taken out from his like leg or something. Bro, that guy survived.
his chunks from his left leg, or I think, left leg were
Yeah,
missing.
grizzly bears are no joke, bro. Grizzly bears are no joke. They're about they're the size of like a freaking SUV, man.
I mean, I can't wait for Joe Rogan to make a comment on this, because I think eventually he will. Because we've had a couple of clips that we covered, and then down the line, a couple of days later, he's had a guest on the show, and they've kind of covered it as well. Like we covered the line, and he had it and everything. So it's good to know, like the things that we are talking about, other people also like are interested in those topics. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, for that person who's decided to stay on and listen to us,
we had
last
that
week
one
had a bit of
comment,
break.
right? We had that
We
one
did something
spam
different.
commenter last time, right? We had that one spam commenter on one of our
Yeah,
like, older
promo
videos.
SM, yeah.
Promo SM. I'm like, what the hell is promo
We had
SM?
some spam, yeah. So at least we're getting something going.
At least we had the spam people from Nigeria like, commenting on us, which is a great thing,
Yeah.
It's a big country, bro. Nigeria could be a good market.
All right. Let's jump on to the next one. So
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
all the grizzly bears are not something that we'll cover here. I just thought that today, when Soeb came on and before I hit the record button, he was to me like, bro, like show me something that'll wake me the fuck up, right? To get me going, to get the podcast going. So, I was like, all right, you know what? Like,
I
this
got
is
some grizzly
something,
bear for you.
Yeah, so we just, instead of tech, we were just talking about brain. But look, I guess there's still a lot of tech that goes into medical is something
Actually,
that I
that
wish
tech,
if I had
you
the
know,
right
they
knowledge,
showed-
I would love to cover medical technology.
They did show a couple of things, right? So they said that they actually were able to communicate with each other virtually. So I'm guessing this is not just like a bunch of surgeons in one hospital. They're probably like talking to other experts across the world or across like America, and they're trying to like come up with some kind of a 3D mold for his lower jaw. And what I saw in that image, they had like this
Yeah.
plastic or whatever, I don't know, maybe like some acrylic plastic 3D mold.
They've done some grafting and stuff as well.
Yeah. There's like a lot of tech work that I mean, technologically, that is a huge thing. Like, you as a medical professional communicating over, what do you call it, the internet or something with other medical professionals across the world, bro. 15, 20, 30 years ago, kahan ba? No, mate, it's not gonna happen. If you went into a hospital and they didn't have the right kind of surgeon, that's it. You are gonna get treated the way that surgeon is able to treat you, or you have to like get yourself helicoptered from like one hospital to the other hospital or something like that. Like,
Well, I think he was rescuing a deer in a different clip that I watched.
Bro, if I was the guy, I'd be like,
he was
that
volunteering.
deer should have been. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
he
why
was,
did
he
I
was
go after that
volunteering to
goddamn deer?
rescue
Yeah.
a deer. I think something happened to the deer, and the whole idea is to six them up and send them back into
What
the
if the
wild.
grizzly was too smart? What if the grizzly was like, I'm gonna kill this, I'm gonna destroy
Plant
this
it,
deer,
yeah.
I'm gonna get me a human, and then I'm gonna get
me
me
a human. Yeah.
get eat that.
Yeah, so I think he got lifted out of the helicopter. I mean that's what did happen to him. But the idea of heading back in and doing that, I mean, he's a granddad, so maybe he's retired and does this volunteering. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. But
bro, I'm telling you, if I become a
that guy's
granddad,
like a fucking modern day warrior.
if I become a granddad, that's like the last thing I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do any rescue, paragliding, nothing. I'm gonna be like, all right, bro, let's go back into like my family's business of like selling biryanis, and let's just fucking make biryani and sell biryani. That is it. I'll be the granddad who has the biryani shop in the corner, and that's it.
That's it, brother. That's it.
I'm like, I don't want no
All
bears.
right, let's jump onto this one.
Oh,
How do we know what's real anymore? Is this even me or somebody else? Maybe it's just my AI clone.
Is this even my real voice?
Ich spreche alle Sprachen. I can transform myself into whatever I want. I can even relight this scene without changing anything. Speaking of the scene, who knows where I even am, really? And by next year, all of this is going to be a simple one-tap process available to everybody.
Just in time for the 2024 U.S. election, which of course will be a
Voice of God.
Civil
That's
affair.
what I want.
No drama whatsoever. So how do we know what's real anymore? Is this even me?
I saw.
Yeah, that's
so
what I
Isha-
would like, bro. I would love to have a sports commentator voice, I mean, can you imagine if everybody started sounding like
each
Joe
of the
Rogan, or
technologies,
one of those like
of
famous
course,
podcasters?
of course, what if Ustaji sounds like like Joe Rogan? Umar is like all of a sudden.
No, I think
Joe Rogan.
the other thing that I saw a couple of other demos as well. The other thing I saw was, bro, there's a guy called Nawaz Sharif. Okay, he is he's someone who was ousted out of Pakistan. If people are not aware of the Pakistani politics,
No.
Imran Khan was running things for a while, and the whole thing
got put into
was a
prison.
complete shit show, a disaster. He's gone, and now the ousted,
He's not gone. He's in prison.
political leader,
Political
that's what
prison.
don't want to get into the details.
House arrest.
Don't want to turn this into a political show, but it's like, but the point I'm trying to make is that Nawaz Sharif has made a comeback, and he's come in and fucking apparently 1 million people went to watch him or something. It was ridiculous. And the meme game in Pakistan is amazing, actually. They make the best memes, I think, in that part of the diaspora. And someone took Morgan Freeman's voice
Oh God.
and got him to speak Urdu
Oh.
and say that I'm happy that Nawaz Sharif is back. And bro, it sounded 90%.
I
it
am
was
happy
correct.
that
Like,
Nawaz Sharif is back. Oh, I was
Oh
like,
man, no, he says this is Morgan. Mera naam Morgan Freeman, and then he just says the whole thing. Like, he
मेरा
says
नाम
that
है
I'm
Morgan
and then he
Freeman.
says,
और मैं खुश
and
हूँ
he
कि
has
नवाज
that
शरीफ
same
वापस
voice
आ
and
गए.
that reverberation. Yeah, he had that same diction, that same voice and reverberation, and basically, bro, all the characteristics of what a Morgan Freeman voice.
What a
should be.
Morgan Freeman person should be. Bro,
So
okay.
now-
So they can now use Morgan Freeman for all narrations. Bro, I will use him. We should use Morgan
Bro,
Freeman's voice.
they can
in
use
like
Amitabh
every...
Bachchan for fucking all narrations, bro. You gotta understand that. Right?
true.
It's like you can have, you can resurrect the voice of
Mike Jackson.
the greatest voice. No, the greatest
Oh,
voice.
Barry White.
Not in music.
Oh, yeah.
Barry White, yeah, but I think who's the guy, man, who did
Oh, the guy who said this summer. Coming
James
to you.
Earl Jones.
James
yeah, this summer
Earl
to chalo,
Jones.
wo to, that can be redone
James Earl
by
Jones
other.
is still alive though, but yeah,
other
okay,
artists.
I
So
understand, yeah.
I think James Earl Jones is the guy's name who did Empire Strikes Back.
Darth Vader,
the
yeah.
Darth Vader voice, right? And he's also the voice of Mufasa in Lion King, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine you resurrect his voice, bro, to do all the narration.
Yeah, of
David
course.
Attenborough, bro. Forget everything. David Attenborough, all the library of work that he's already done, you could literally have AI generated David Attenborough. The narration can be done by other people. Like, you know what I mean? Someone else can record it, and then they can just transform.
They
that voice.
can
At the
slightly
moment-
kind of talk like David Attenborough, so they can follow
Correct.
his
It makes
pacing.
it makes it even more easier.
Yeah, they can
for
just
the
follow
AI
his
to
pacing
kind of
and
latch on.
yeah, and the David Attenborough's the AI will just basically
There
fill
you
in
go.
the.
They won't. I mean, that is I think what the next one should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to show you this one here, man. Actually, this is actually a great segue.
I've actually seen the
that,
interface
I
for
would
the
like
voice
to
changer
share.
thing, and it's very similar to what Stable Diffusion does with their interface as well. It's all built on the same thing. It's all built on Python anyway, using Gradio.
That's right, brother. That is right. Check this out.
Vultures. Treacherous. Harrowing. Thriller.
The fuck, man? Looks like they just keep falling. Oh, there you go. I've not seen this movie, by the way, but now
Using
I'm thinking,
flawless
okay, maybe I should watch
technology.
it.
Okay.
The USP of this film is not gore and extreme horror. It's actually the tension, suspense, implied horror that's a bit more unique than that. And I was very aware that, the key thing to this film was not actually something that needed to be a restricted movie.
When we were filming the movie, we didn't know if we were R or if we were PG-13. So I said the F word so many times. I think Scott wanted to kill me in post when we were trying to get a PG-13 rating. You're stealing my car! What? No, you mother! What the hell?
There was quite a bit of swearing that Ginny and I both missed it.
And we got to the end of the movie and realized, we got a great movie, but no one's going to see it because it's
And Australian directors, man, one thing you gotta give it to them, they're really good at this kind of stuff, like cheap, independent horror. And
audience,
like
they're just not going to be able to get to see it. And the distributor, Lionsgate, was the same. They're
It was
like,
British,
okay, we love the movie, but we can't release it. Why?
No, but I think
Because
it was
there's a
shot in
limited
Australia.
audience to this movie
could be wrong.
because it's restricted. It's like, right, we're going to have to reshoot it if we're going to be able to change that fact. But for a movie like this, we can't reshoot it. We're not a big tentpole. We're a small movie. We don't have the resources. We don't have the time more than anything else. And really what saved this movie and brought it into a wider audience was technology.
Rather than having to go back and do a bunch of reshoots, they're able to recreate you in AI and change your mouth.
Look at her,
Isn't
man, how
put
she's
us in
selling.
our rating category.
And now we're stuck on this stupid freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere.
That we're able to change dialogue, change performances, essentially do a post-production reshoot of the movie and enable it to get a better certificate.
So this is cheaper than actually doing live shots.
Hey, we're not.
No more reshoots, bro.
I have no clue what bits have been changed.
That sweet cash
As far
is
as I
gone now.
know,
No more reshoots.
Every movement my mouth made in that movie, my mouth made.
Without the technology, this would have been a small, restricted
So they're
film
using
that
a couple of
had
things. I can
much
already see.
smaller audience, potential audience, and then being able to use the technology to open it out to a wider audience, I think, gives the film
Company's
its
name
best
is
shot
Flawless.
at being seen
Yeah,
and
yeah.
enjoyed.
Look, someone else just covered it 6 months ago. Like, this one, if you watch this one.
Now we're stuck on this stupid tower in the middle of nowhere. And I don't blame you. And now we're stuck on this stupid freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere. And it's all my fault.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Y es todo por mi culpa.
Shit, bro. That's what we're
Yeah,
talking
bro, there
about.
you go.
It's like,
But here's the
there you
thing,
go.
right? They're using, okay, so definitely part of the repertoire, right? For Flawless Technologies, part of the repertoire is a software called Deep Face Lab, okay, which is right now the world's largest open source face swapping technology thing. So what they're doing is basically they're creating a 3D model, okay, of that person's face, animating it, okay, the way they want it to say whatever they want it to say. And then what they're doing is they're doing a face swap on the model, on the 3D model. Okay, so the face swap doesn't have to work as hard. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So they created a 3D model using AI. They're creating a 3D model of that person's face. They're then getting the 3D model to animate, maybe using motion capture or something. And then they're doing a face swap. And then they're doing a face swap within after they've animated them. So because the face swap is happening from the same face, it doesn't look fake.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's actually what's happening, and definitely part of
the
stack.
And I think they're using the whole babe thing or
they showed you, right? The section that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This whole mouth movement thing has been used in the past. I mean, this is a much more advanced version. But
yeah, it's a much more advanced version of it. But I can appreciate what they're doing, though. It's actually amazing.
And
Somebody
even the
actually,
audio stuff is pretty good.
Yeah. Of course. Why not, bro?
I mean, if you look at the other one, man, the guy, obviously links will be in the description, and so I forgot the fella's name. The way that he questioned the idea that even the studio might be fake. Right, and the whole
that technology exists, by the way. I saw that. That technology.
Yeah, all that technology exists. Yeah,
like
but we are sitting here. Away.
We are sitting here. No, it's not about one click, bro. Literally, that technology of you having your own virtual space. I'm sitting here behind with a bookcase, and there can be an AI that can generate the rest of my background. So all I need is like this much, right? So this much of Sohaib Bhai is like
with generative fill
is real, and then the rest of it is generative fill, and it stays static. It doesn't change. So literally, something in my background can move.
What I like, what I think, what I'm trying to hint at,
is what is real. Yeah.
What it's not about what is real. It's look. I guess what Roberto Nixon. Sorry, I was just trying to get his name out, man. So what Roberto's video is trying to do is trying to make people realize that all that technology at the moment is kind of complex. Okay, a normal person just can't put all that together. It's just a click away. So with what we witnessed with the Lex Friedman interview with Zaki, okay. And being in that metaverse, being in that spatial space, and feeling as if that other person is sitting right next to you, or right in front of you, to moving and combining it with this kind of tech here. I mean, studios would stop existing. So recently, I met someone, right, and they were talking about starting a podcast, and he said, "Well, the biggest problem is getting studio space." In this environment, where are we going to find the studio space, and how do we bring guests in and all that? And I was thinking in the back of my mind while he was discussing that, like, by the time we do get studio space, and look, I think face-to-face conversations, studio conversations will exist, but in order to create that wider reach, like if tomorrow we want to bring in people and we would like to interview people, it is not possible to just keep flying people in. And not everybody is going to be in town to promote their thing or whatnot, because usually that's how these things work.
Not everybody's going to have the resources to actually keep flying people in or keep talking to them face to face. Yeah, it's completely acceptable.
Correct. Not everybody's like Joe Rogan. You understand? Yeah. So, and I think, it also takes the other person out of their comfort as well. Like the guy has to make time, come in and
Yeah.
do that interview, and then and what else is they supposed to do? So even on other people's part, I think just being able to connect and having this tech in place and it's just a click away is going to be amazing. But I guess people are going to start questioning what is fake and what is real. Maybe Zaki is right.
Bro, I think people are already
reality?
questioning. People are already questioning that. And Zaki's Facebook situation, Facebook has actually been at the forefront of it. They've been like, suppressing one side of the story and letting the other side go, go for it.
Oh yeah, man! Dude, I watched videos. I have seen not videos. I've seen samples of videos, shots on X, where, like, I saw this one video where there's a car is burning and the flames coming out of it.
Yeah, and this
But when you
person's
look at
like
it,
dragging the
it's
thing.
completely
Yeah, the person drags
and then
that,
the guy
that thing.
takes
Yeah.
a 3D object and drags it through the fumes,
And
through
that actually
the
breaks
smoky and
breaks
everything.
the illusion. Yeah.
And that breaks the realism. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is this even? So I mean, and that is someone just sitting there and doing it, right? So, I mean, I think we're not far away. Another couple of years, and I mean, look at this. So this is
in another decade, it's going to be really difficult.
so this is Mid Journey now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Mid Journey was last year.
Was last year, yeah.
Which is kind of hard to believe. I think this is a different. This is a painting. This is digital. This is digital.
No, I think
This one is a raw
okay.
photo, but this is Mid
I also think that this is a bit over. This whole thing about Mid Journey is a bit too oversimplified. Personally, I feel like the prompt that was used was actually probably incorrect in the first case, and the second
think it's
case
a
it was
prompt
a lot better. It's a prompt situation. If your prompt is better, you'll get a better outcome. If your prompt is crap, you'll get a crap outcome. So, learn to use those prompts, people, to get them nice, sweet.
Yeah, so I think
good-looking
just communicating
images.
better and just articulating things better, be the
Definitely.
thing. So I mean, bro, I'm gonna show you a demo of this. Since we're all on it at the moment, check this out. This Spotify.
When you say the word toxicity, how are you defining that? You're saying like toxic chemicals, cosas que introducimos en nuestras
Yeah, I saw
vidas,
that,
en
bro.
nuestra
I've seen
piel,
this many times.
vimos, inhalamos, tenemos a nuestro alrededor
now-
y que están en nuestro.
Spotify is gonna introduce that as a standard.
Yeah.
So podcasters, what if I told you could offer your pod to any listener around the world in their own local language, but still keep it your own voice? That's the pilot we are launching.
Yeah, but bro, this is a free voice translation AI tool that came out like 2 weeks ago, and then they all started incorporating. So I subscribe to another piece of another platform, which has a lot of tutorials for people who are like in their kind of mid career of their UX UI journey, okay, or design journey. And then that platform, they basically introduced recently, videos in like 4 languages or something. And when you look at the video, you're like, he's doing the same movements. He's doing the exact same thing. So basically, they use that AI platform. They just haven't told people. They're like, oh, we're releasing all these videos in 4 different languages. And I'm like, oh, that's a big undertaking. And then I was like, oh, hang on a second. This is like the AI tool that they use just
They're
to...
using AI translation.
Yeah, they're using AI translation. It's
Yeah,
great,
but I think a platform offering it for free,
as part of their thing, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's for free or not, but a platform offering that service where you just upload your podcast and then it'll take that and translate it with your own voice into a different language, bro. That's like...
But I think you can do it even before you upload it to the platform.
No,
The
can't
tool
do
is
it, bro.
there.
What I'm saying is that, again, is that the whole one click versus many clicks.
Yeah, one click versus... Yeah, okay, fine. I see
Right.
that.
So at the moment, let's say we are using remote software, right? We use Riverside, for example, right? If Riverside did not exist, can you even think this podcast would not exist? Because you're sitting somewhere else, I'm sitting
true.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
And trying to make it happen weekly on a weekly basis. Oh. And then these same people, they will eat into... So there are huge, big, podcasters. For example, Joe Rogan. I'm sure, me being a fan of Joe Rogan, you like his work, right? And some of his episodes are golden, bro. Out of his body of work now, some of the episodes are actually golden, like the Graham Hancock ones, and the David Goggin episodes, that he did, and back in the day when fucking things were like super raw, you know what I mean? Like the Eddie Bravo ones. Now imagine all of that being translated into Hindi, bro.
Yeah.
Eddie Bravo talking in Hindi. That'd be amazing. You know what I mean? Like there's a huge amount of audience out there जो सुनना चाहती है सब, right? And same thing with us. The problem is I think in English, right? I can speak Urdu, Hindi, but I think that there are people who are, I'm just not comfortable doing it that way, So unless it's just a normal conversation. I feel like tech should be covered in the way we speak, right? Because that's how I speak at work, that's how we speak with other people. So imagine now our podcast, without me putting any extra effort in, is now translated into another language. And there are these huge podcasters in India as well who have 1 million views, on each episode. But they do it only in Hindi. So if they want to translate their work into English, then this is the tool.
This is it. Yeah,
What's gonna happen? Spanish, bro. Joe Rogan speaking Spanish. How good is that? There's a huge audience. Arabic.
There's a huge audience.
Especially the Arabic podcast.
Arabic part.
There are a lot of Arabic podcasts.
But no, Arabic is a difficult. There is the automatic translate software cannot do Arabic yet. They can't do Arabic because again, Semitic language.
Yeah, look, obviously it
difficult
can't
to
do it can't do Chinese either. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
the
There's a lot of
automatic stuff, I
languages.
think, is still on trial.
Yeah.
But in a couple of years, bro, I mean that count of languages will just continue to increase.
Yeah, 100%. In less than a decade, we'll be there.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, already like Lex Friedman is speaking in Spanish. I mean, they've already trialing that with him, obviously.
Yeah.
And might from here, who knows how things will go. I mean, it's your guess is as good as anybody else's.
Well,
all right. So going to change gears here. I'm going to show you this one. This is very interesting to me, and I want to take your take on it. Bro, I follow this world of engineering.
Life before
Twitter.
AutoCAD. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Life before AutoCAD. I mean, dude, check this.
Drafting table.
There are people like lying down.
Yeah.
That work, and there's an army of people. Right?
Yeah. Army of draftsmen, yeah.
I just thought to myself, like, maybe I shared this with you. And
They're all like lying on the table trying to do this. Yeah.
But look at all that design as well, that whole retro kind of like, look at those big white globes on top, tube lights, and check this out, bro.
Yeah.
And that language there, not sure where this is. This is obviously in Europe somewhere, but look at the work that's going on there.
Yeah, but this is like, have you seen how they designed microchips before you had AutoCAD and the new microchip technology?
No.
Microchip.
No, I haven't.
They would actually print out.
Should I Google it?
I mean, they would actually print out like these massive, like room-sized printouts. Okay. And they would actually print out all these big pages, and they would layer them on top of each other, and they would have like all these every single transistor, every single thing that is supposed to go into the microchip. You probably won't find it nowadays. The software does most of the thing. In the 50s.
Is that
Yeah, I remember seeing a photo of like somebody just walking over like a whole circuit board diagram, like of like a microprocessor that has like 1,000 resistors or something in it.
Yeah, but like, so don't you think that these people, their jobs got replaced in a way? AutoCAD came along and kind of took their jobs away, you think?
I think
now a lot
AutoCAD
can be just repurposed as well, right?
I think when AutoCAD came, two things happened when AutoCAD came. One thing is that people who were, let's say, younger, right? The younger generation who had all those analog skills. Younger generation who had all the analog skills. I don't think you'll find the photo if you're looking for the photo. I don't know. I came across it like randomly like a couple of years ago. But
18 vintage photos. Oh.
Ooh.
You'll find something here.
It was the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
Or similar thing. There you go. That's the photo that you saw.
Here. Yep.
Yeah, so they're basically draftsmen who are working on something, some kind of an engineering.
He's got a tall chair.
Yeah. It's a climb on his chair.
It's interesting how people have different. Oh, look at this one.
Oh, that's city planning.
This one, I think, is like a city planning or something.
Yeah.
So
But
you're saying that the blueprint.
But the
for a
blueprint used
microchip
to be,
around this
blueprint would
big.
be about that size, and people would walk over it and just start making, engineers would go over it and go, oh, okay, fine. So you're supposed to follow this line, and this AND gate or that gate over there doesn't make sense. And then they would bring in a paper and stick it on top, just to modify that one particular section. And then they would have an overhead camera that shoots this thing from a railing. There would be a railing that will shoot the whole thing from the left to the right and stitch it all up. It was a very interesting time. But what I think, going back to what I was about to say, so let's say whenever there's a piece of technology that enters the market, you have those people who are just entering into that area with the skills from the previous way of how things were being done. Those people, they will opt, because they want to keep continuing to do the work, they will opt to learn the technology. Okay, they will learn the technology, and then among them, some people will learn the technology kind of okay, some people will be kind of proficient, some people will be very proficient, and depending upon the people who learn this technology, the most proficient people, they are kept. Yeah. Whereas the people who are on the other side of the spectrum, who have been in the industry for a long time, all they've done is they've done it by hand the entire time. They are much more proficient, doing it by hand. They will just opt to stay with the whole hand method. And for a while, for a very, very short while, there is this kind of situation where both things are running in parallel. The software then develops, okay, software becomes better. With that, the people who've learned the software, they become better, and slowly but surely they lose all the analog skills are given up in favor of learning the new aspects of the software. So you have a kind of very gradual shift from those people who are learning analog skills and who are analog masters to people who become experts in the software and who are able to use the software. Towards the tail end of it, everybody's just using the software because it's the most convenient way to learn. Institutions are teaching you the software because that is the most convenient way for them to teach you whatever they need to learn. So there's this gradual industry shift that happens. It's not that the software comes and bam, everybody freaking loses their job. It's it doesn't work that way. People get really scared. When computers first came, right, into the graphic design industry, you had people who were still doing everything by hand. They were doing everything by hand, and they were still the top designers. Massimo Vignelli, Paul Rand. These people were still doing everything by hand. Then what they would do is, once they've done the high level concept, they would pass their work off to the juniors who were experts at the whole computer thing, and the juniors would just put it into the computer, because that was the limit of how much the computer could do. You could just take somebody, it couldn't do the whole design work in it. All it could do is it could take somebody's already designed work, and you could just put it on a letterhead, or you could put it on an envelope and change the color a little bit here and there.
Things progress slowly, you mean, back then. Yeah. So it gave time for the transition to happen.
Yeah, give time for the transition. Like right now, it appears to us, okay, if you go into, say, if we're naturally going to go towards the whole question that everybody's asking, will AI replace me, right? You have to understand AI right now in its very early form, even though it's progressing rapidly, and it appears like it is about to take over your job or whatever, there are still a lot of gaps that AI cannot fill, or it doesn't understand. Once again, AI is good at task-based situations, so it can do task-based or task-oriented roles really well. Like you tell it to do, write me a line for X, Y, and Z or something, it'll write you a line. Now, whether the line makes sense in the context that you are asking it to make sense, that is, you as a human can only identify that. To the AI, it makes sense, because the AI is just using probability to find that next word. So what's going to happen is, now we're at that stage where people who are already in the industry, whichever industry that AI is about to disrupt, those people who've been working in the industry for say 20, 30 years or whatever, they're already experts with the current workflow. They will choose to be in the current workflow. and they will continue to work in the current workflow because they are productive, right? AI is still kind of at that infant stage where it's not helping people be productive enough. Like an expert artist, when people talk about like AI art, an expert artist can talk to a customer, get their exact specifications, and come up with an exact come up with a near exact requirement for what they want, right? Somebody who's a seasoned artist. But if you are somebody who's using AI, if you as a customer say, okay, screw it, I'm not gonna hire an artist, I'll just go and do my own thing, it might take you 5 days. Like for me, for example, we were using Stable Diffusion for a while. It took me 5 days to come up with that one image. Okay. And and it was the image that I had in my head. I had it exactly like that image. It took me such a long time to get that. But if I was somebody who was actually good at drawing or good at art, because I did study art for a while, and if I was really somewhat adept at it anymore, I would have probably done that within a day. So there is a productivity, sacrifice there at the moment. Eventually, you're going to have artists who are going to use AI along with their traditionally learned skills, and they're going to merge them. It's already happening. Okay. And then you will have companies who will come around and form workflows around that. It's going to take a while. It's going to take like maybe another 10 years or so. But eventually, there'll be like a smoothing over. So the old guard will go away, and they will continue to work in their traditional pipelines for as long as traditional pipelines can be upheld. Let's look at it this way. If the watchmaking industry can survive after the quartz crisis, any industry can survive. Okay. The watchmaking industry is super specific.
Hundreds
super
of
niche.
like watchmakers kind of went under.
Yeah.
Because of the quartz crisis, and the good ones remained, or I think the ones who adapted or
the best ones remained.
And
the ones who were the best and the ones who had the highest value,
but I think
remained.
So on that one, right? I think the best ones remained. Today morning,
or the ones who
there's another
adapted
podcast
remained, I
that I
guess
follow,
you're right.
the All In podcast.
Yeah.
And it's got Chamath and a couple of other people, David Saxwater. So in the finance world, in the investing world, they're very popular. I mean, in the pandemic, they kind of use remote software and just got on and they'll talk about the market, the stock market or whatever, and what's happening in the economy, politically, what the angle is. And, they had a fan following. They recently did an all-in live where basically they call in guests from the industry to come and have a talk, and they'll do a Q&A.
Yeah.
There's a person I recently started following, Rob Henderson करके नाम है उसका.
Okay.
He is a PhD, and he's written a book as well, which is a memoir on his life. So he's had a very hard, tough life, and I think that kind of informed his, or kind of influenced the way he thinks, I guess. And bro, in that one, he talks about something known as a luxury belief.
Okay.
I'm still in the middle of the talk, and he talks about this one thing. I heard it today morning, so it's just fresh off my mind at the moment. He talks about it back in the day, right? Spices and sugar were a luxury good, and the elite used to use it in their food.
It was used as currency.
And the French palace, palace used to use it in their food. And once it was not, something that was a luxury item anymore, because the East India Company came in and they started selling it in the mass market from India. Sugar was moved only to desserts, and that's how desserts came to be. And spices were also reduced because it's not a luxury item anymore. So he talks about this whole narrative of going to gala dinners and buying the expensive cars. This whole behavior, it's a belief system. It's known as a luxury belief. So the elite at the moment have certain beliefs, and as long as they're not common, they remain luxurious. Once it becomes common because of tech or mass production or manufacturing, whatever you call it, it moves down from that order down here. So that's why now you have all these ridiculous kind of things that you see what the elite is doing and their belief system and all that. So it's a great theory, I would say, a social theory that this guy's come up with. I think more to
Anthropological
look into
theory.
that. And I think technologically, what is happening is that as we are moving to smartwatches and all that, these Rolex watches and everything are going through the roof, is because that it has that price tag. It has that luxury belief tag to it. So I think
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
reason why the Swiss watches, I mean, it's really controversial, have maybe survived, according to his theory. He didn't say that. I'm just by listening into it.
Yeah, yeah.
What he's saying is that a lot of the watch brands probably survived because the rich people have that belief that I can afford it. I can get an AP. I can get a Rolex. I can get a Vacheron or a Cartier. Maybe that's the reason.
Cartier is not
I mean,
considered to be high luxury
look at this
anymore,
one.
though. But yeah,
Every time you watch those, classic movies, where you enter
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
ballroom or you enter some aristocrat's
Ballroom or
living or
something.
living room or library, they'll
Yeah.
have like a clock with a pendulum there, or
Yeah,
they'll
yeah,
have a
yeah.
big globe or something. Like those things, right? We don't need those globes anymore because we got Google Maps now. But moving from that into this, talking about things being done by hand before everything came along. Check this out.
Oh, Belby
If these
globes.
artisans
Yes.
make a single mistake laying a flat map over this giant custom sphere, they'll have to start the entire process over. The slightest twitch of the finger can cause a rip, a costly hiccup at Bellaby & Co. globe makers, where the world's most expensive globes are made. A 22-centimetre mass-produced globe can cost about $25, while a Bellaby globe of the same size can sell for over $3,800. And prices can reach six figures for Bellaby's largest globes. That's partly because artisans customize these globes entirely in-house, including hand-painting the globe and crafting the base it sits on. So, what makes these globes worth waiting up to 2 years to get?
It's
And
like
why
buying
are
a
they so
Rolex.
expensive?
I love watching this the So Expensive series.
Yeah, So
I'll
Expensive
stop
is
it right
pretty
here.
cool.
We'll attach a link into the description. People can follow it. But I think you understand just gist of it, right? We can mass produce them using manufacturing techniques, modern manufacturing techniques, but
I mean, if you
handmade
really
ones.
if you really think about it, right? If you really think about it, the Apple Watch is a luxury. The Apple Watch is a luxury. You don't need it. Your phone does
In
everything.
comparison to the Rolexes, it's not.
No,
really.
forget about the Rolex.
In a
I'm talking
digital-
about just the basic. Okay, what is luxury? Luxury is something that you don't need but you buy anyway. That's what luxury is. Okay, it's something that you don't really need. It doesn't fulfill any extra purpose aside from the fact that you
Yeah, but
just
there is a
wanted to-
function behind a smartwatch, don't you think?
There is a
lot of people
function.
go
There
with
is a
like
function, but
Fitbits and all.
but that function can be solved by a Fitbit. And Fitbit knows this very well. That's why they're still in the market. Fitbit didn't just disappear when Apple Watch came onto the scene. Because Fitbit knows that Apple Watch is going to be too expensive. Even the most cheapest grade of Apple Watch, which is the SE, right? Here in Australia, it's like $499. $500 for an SE.
Right.
You can get a Fitbit for like $70. It gives you the same features. You want the heart rate. You want the water. In fact, I think Fitbit watches are more waterproof than the Apple watches. So
Yeah, I mean, Apple Watches are water resistant. They're not really waterproof.
no, but Fitbit watches actually are water resistant to much more greater, I guess, depths or whatever it is. Either way, it is a luxury because if you are just using it to tell the time and you're not using all that heart rate and monitor and all that other stuff, then it's a luxury because you can just pull out your phone and you can tell the time that way.
Right.
So just owning something on your wrist is a luxury. Okay. Now this, for example, by that metric, even my little Citizen here, this little thing right here that I was given as a gift, is a huge luxury because I don't need it. But at the same time, it makes me feel good. So I wear it. Okay. It makes me feel nice. That's the whole thing. It's about what you classify as
deemed to be luxury. Yeah.
No, what you.
But I think
what you classify.
Are you going by what Rob is saying, or are you just giving your take?
No, I'm not going by what Rob is saying. I'm just going by what luxury means to me, basically.
Yeah. So luxury for the normal people, as to what they can afford in the upper middle class or the middle class is not really luxury. That's what he's saying. He's saying luxury belief is different from just being able to buy luxury items. So
Yeah.
there are beliefs that only the luxurious people who can afford it,
They
just
have
to
it.
have that way of thinking.
Like, I ain't
it's a
going for
luxury.
no stinking Rolex. I'm gonna buy myself an AP.
No, it's not just about buying things. It's also about the behavior. So he also
Yeah,
talks
behavior as
about
well.
things like the nuclear family,
Mhm.
the destruction of the nuclear family, and how the people, the elite, they actually are able to practice the idea of having a nuclear family.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, that's a big part of
That's
it.
a huge
Right, so
luxury. Yeah. Okay.
it
No,
is
it makes sense. Yeah.
it is a belief. That belief of having the nuclear family intact, to pass on wealth and to create those massive intergenerational, dynasties. It comes with the idea of the nuclear family. The middle class cannot
Nuclear
afford that.
family or what do you call it? Not
Nuclear
nuclear family. That's a normal family,
No.
right? The
So
one
the-
nuclear family is like when you just separate from the
Yeah,
main
but a
branch.
lot of people in America, a lot of people in the middle class around the first world country in the Western world cannot afford to have a nuclear family anymore. There are
Yeah,
a lot
they
of
can't.
boys
They can't afford to,
and
yeah.
girls being raised, right? So I think
By
that also.
grandparents and
So I
stuff,
think
yeah,
that, the belief, it powers the idea. It influences how you spend your money. The belief will,
Okay.
I mean, dude, biryani. Okay, Let's
Biryani.
just think
Yes,
that,
let's just go biryani.
the way we eat biryani, there are hundreds of kinds of biryanis that are made around
No,
the
bro.
world.
I have no. I
No,
disagree with you. There's only one biryani, which is
No,
Hyderabadi biryani. That's it.
Everyone has their own version of a biryani. So there is
I know,
no
but they're all
copyright.
wrong, bro. They're all wrong, bro.
It's not like the French champagne. The French champagne is controlled, right? So you cannot call anything that is not made out of
champagne,
unless it's in
champagne.
that region in
Yeah, I
France.
know.
Anything outside that, you can't call it a champagne, right? Champagne needs to come from the Champagne region in France, right? I mean, that's just simplifying it.
Apparently.
Now, in terms of biryani, unless you want the original quintessential,
It has to
biryani,
come from
whatever, yes,
Hyderabad. It has
is
to
the
come
place.
from the old
Yeah.
city of Hyderabad. That is the
but
only place the
unfortunately, the
biryani has
Indian
to come.
government has not. The Indian government has not gone to the World Trade Organization and put some kind of patent or some
They
kind
should.
of thing in place saying that
The Hyderabadis
they
should go there and
like-
do it. Listen
like
to me,
they've
all
done that
Hyderabadi
with
people.
cheese.
Go to the international thing and get it patented, mate. Okay, if
They've
it
done
doesn't
that
come
with
from here,
cheese.
there's no. It's not called biryani. But yeah,
They've done that with wine. They've done that with other products around the world. They've done that in Italian products. They've done that with Spanish products. Now,
Japanese
what I'm saying is
products.
that there are 100 variations of the biryani. So you go to Uzbekistan, they have one. You go to Kazakhstan, they have
the
one.
wrong
Right?
biryani.
And Pakistan, Bangladesh, all these countries have their own versions of biryani, right? Now, if you look at the Mughal biryani, like where it originally originates from, the ingredients that are used in that, a lot of the ingredients now, because of inflation and all that, are
They've
being cut
changed.
out.
Yeah.
So people are now using chemically made food chemically made food colors in biryani compared to using saffron, right? Sultanas that are used in certain parts of the other world, like Uzbekistanis and all that, they use sultanas, right? Because of inflation, they've stopped using sultanas now. So the raisins and all that. So you have to understand, and then the cuts of meat,
Yeah.
shoulder, certain cuts of meat that are like prized as part of kibbi goat hai, in the goat or the mutton biryani, they use certain cuts of meat that are like,
Bada. You need to get the bada.
far above everything else. Now, what it is, you just
Just pick what
butcher
you
the
can.
goat, and mix up all the pieces of meat, the ribs, the shoulder, the leg, the shank, everything all goes together, and then they just pop it into the biryani recipe. So, what I'm saying is that the luxurious way of making biryani is not being practiced because only the people, the elite, only could afford that level of. But I guess if today the Mughals did live, or the monarchs existed, which do exist in other parts of the world, their foods that are served to them
Are
they
made
might
using
be
the old
completely-
traditional method.
Yeah, they might be using a traditional method, burying food into the ground or charcoal. I mean, even charcoal was not really. I had a kebab, bro. Shout out, his name is Kebabji. Okay, it's in Melbourne. It's on Sydney Road, bro. They are Lebanese, and they make their chicken and lamb on charcoal, and then they put
Also,
it
not
into,
in
it's
that
like a
big
shawarma.
tower stand thing. It's actually on charcoal, so it
It's
rotates.
not a
on-
sausage. They don't shave it off. It's not like the Turkish style. It's a proper Lebanese shawarma. And it's a luxury now. It's inflation, bro. Because of inflation, even food is getting impacted. Ingredients
Although
are getting
there's a place in Richmond called Lambs, they also do it over charcoal.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, souvlaki is done traditionally on charcoal.
On charcoal, yeah. You're
So
right.
I think that the kind of parts that are being used at the moment in products, a lot of is moving from good metals to plastic. And look,
Yeah.
plastic, it works. It does the job. So I think
Good plastics will
it's
still
more
work.
about
Yeah.
function over form. It's more about function and the value that you're getting out of it's more functional. Like Seikos and the Citizens and all these watches, they're all about function.
Bro,
right?
I actually
Now-
I actually had an epiphany the other day. I'm like, you know what? I cannot bring myself to spend like 10 grand on a Rolex. It's not gonna happen. I am probably just gonna be a Seiko Citizen man, all
For
my
the rest
life.
of my life.
For
Yeah,
the
that's
rest of
right,
my
you know,
life,
yeah.
that's gonna
So-
be what it is.
But how is Apple able to do that? That's the main question, right?
What do you mean,
So I
how
think
is Apple
again
able
it
to
goes
do
back to the whole Zaki thing. Look, I've been thinking about that whole statement that Zaki made.
What
which
is reality?
What is reality, right? And how is Apple able to convince people to spend put down $2,000, 2,000 Australian dollars for a fucking phone, bro? There are phones out there you can get for $100, right? So I think
a software.
the software part, the digital part,
It's the software and the
it has
overall
a hold. Yeah,
it's the
services.
whole experience, right? The whole experience. I'm sure if you go and buy a Rolex, or if you buy a high-end watch, right, like a Langa or something. The problem with Langas and watches is that, again, if we're coming back to the whole watches example, is that there is no experience. When you wear a Rolex, it's the same goddamn experience. It's the same thing. You still
But
have
I think
this
it just
thing
powers your
on
belief.
your shoulder.
It's just a status symbol.
Yeah,
Like
but
a
here's the
luxurious
thing: you
belief.
have to be of
It's
that
a status
status.
symbol.
You have to be of that. You can't be a janitor wearing a Rolex. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your situation.
A good example, I
Okay.
think, of a luxury belief, right? When the Queen passed away,
Oh yeah.
Queen of England, right? Are you aware or you watch a little bit of the
No,
whole
I didn't watch anything.
ceremony of the whole, the way
No.
the funeral procession was done and everything?
No.
Dude, the funeral procession, right? It's called a procession. It wasn't just
Procession.
a funeral. The average Joe, when he passes away, if you're a Hindu or Buddhist or whatever, they cremate you. If you're going into the ground, there's only 2 or 3 ways we do
They
this,
shove
right?
you into the back of a
right?
big long hearse.
Unless
and
you're
then
like,
drive you.
a nomad in the mountains and, you're gonna, leave it
I
for
shall
the eagles
die
and the
with the
vultures,
land.
and that's a different story.
And my
Yeah,
axe.
it's like the warrior culture. Unless you're Red Indian or, native, But I think that, and funerals are very simple, actually. Everything extra on top, like if you look in the Christian culture, even in the Muslim culture, right? Everything is extra on top. Like, for example, in the Muslim culture, even I think in Italian culture, once the burial is done, people are invited back home for dinner and stuff like that. People get served, people have food, they talk about it, they share memories of the person who's passed away. There's all these tribal activities, that human beings have put together, right? But if you look at the ones, the elite, the aristocrats, the people
boys.
who run the world, the big boys, right? The big dogs, the top dogs, right? The way they run things is completely different. Look at, the
100%.
procession of the Queen, bro. They have bagpipes and then fucking they have chariots, carrying the thing, and they have all these small what do you call bits of action that happen. Like step 1, we will do this and we'll have a choir. And then step 2, we'll move from this hall to that hall and then we're going to have a speech. And then step 3, we're going to do this. And then step 4, blah, blah. It's like, and then we're going to place this and we're going to place that on the casket and the casket will be lowered and the casket will go there. Like, there's a whole fucking, whole drama around the whole thing. Dude, just like, bury the lady, let her go. It's like, let her go in peace. No, we have to do this whole shit. We got to sound the
Yeah,
bagpipes.
funeral.
But
That's the thing, right? The
I
funeral.
think-
The funeral is
but it's
for
a
the
belief.
living.
Yeah, it's a belief.
It's a belief,
and
yeah,
it's
it's
a
a belief.
luxurious belief.
Yeah,
A way of burying someone, right? Ultimately, it can be as simple as you want it to be, or it could be as complex and spectacle
Intricate
based
as you want it to be,
right? So, coming out of that, coming back down to the world
Come
of tech.
back down to earth.
I always wondered at what makes Apple such a valuable product and why people drop so much cash for it. So now let's just study.
I think
a bit
okay.
about-
Let's just discuss something about that, right? I think okay. Here's the thing. Now having owned an Apple iPhone 15 for about half a month now, okay, I can tell you my use of the Apple 15, the new 15 Pro, in fact,
Tell us, mate. It's a mistake.
has been
You shouldn't have.
no. It's not about. It's not
Is
about
it a-
shouldn't have. There are
Do you like
it's
it?
definitely
Do you
it's
love it,
definitely a
or-
smooth experience. Definitely a smoother experience compared to my
Like how
iPhone.
smooth, man. You moved from
like-
10 or
Yeah, I moved from
how
10.
about 12?
10. No, from 12, I don't think you'll notice anything. But from 10,
Right.
it is definitely a smoother experience. It has certain things in it, certain small things in it that actually, it delight you when you use it, right? There's a kind of delight and the way the phone reacts to you. Plus, I've taken it out and I haven't felt
feeling.
the need to sort of take my camera with me. So when I take, like, truly for the first time, I normally take my SLR every time we go out, but this time around I haven't done that. So I just use my phone and the photos come out fine. They come out well enough for me to just abandon my SLR on this completely now. Okay, 24/7. It just stays there now. So is that worth the almost $2,000 that they're charging you? No. Apple, during the era of Steve Jobs, was truly an innovative company. Steve Jobs was pushing his engineers, pushing his people to actually create the best products. Apple now is kind of like it's innovative sometimes. Like when they come out with the new M1, when they came out with the M1, right? They were innovative. But then they did M1 and then they did M2, and there's not much of a difference between M1 and M2. Now next year they'll probably come out with an M3. And then you have to ask yourself, what is the difference between the M2 and the M3? Probably not much. It's just that Apple, Steve Jobs has built the brand. Now, what's his name? The new guy, what's his name? Tim Cook is just shepherding the brand the best he can. Steve Jobs built the boat. Tim Cook is just trying to sail it in
Tim Cook,
one
I think, is a
direction.
services person.
Yeah.
I think he's really focused on services.
He's focused on the whole
becoming a
services
platform
side of
company.
things. So he's really focused on the Apple Arcade experience. He's focused on the iCloud experience. Actually, I'll give them one thing. The iCloud experience is amazing. Okay, the iCloud experience, whoever is behind that person needs to be given an award. Whoever's the product owner of that thing needs to
It
be
was
given
built during
Steve Jobs' era. Yeah, but that's the thing.
He introduced it.
Whatever was built during Steve Jobs' era is perfect. Like music, Apple Music is doing really well. Okay, Steve Jobs' era. Apple TV, not so much. Okay.
Yeah.
Apple, what else is there? Apple
Plus, I think the
Arcade.
amount of variety they've created in all the phones and the iPads, I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, again,
Two
see,
iPads,
like
this iPad.
you as a consumer are now confused about which iPad you should go and get because it doesn't make sense to you. If Steve Jobs was in place, he wouldn't have allowed that to happen. He would have been like, we need to have clear distinction between our lines. The whole thing was Apple iPad Air was the lightest iPad. Okay, iPad was your bog
There were
standard
other
iPad.
iPads that are kind of
iPad was your bog standard iPad. iPad Pro was like the big giant, big boy iPad. Okay. Then you had the iPad Air, which was the thinnest iPad and the lightest iPad. That was the distinction. That is all that what it was. Now it's like, oh, you've got iPad, which comes. You have the iPad Mini. Okay. iPad Mini was during the time of Steve Jobs, by the way. All the iPad models were during the time of Steve Jobs. So iPad Mini made sense for people who didn't want a massive tablet. They just wanted something small that they can use to read. iPad Mini was basically something to compete with the Amazon. Was that?
Yeah. Kindles.
Essentially, okay. It was there to compete with the Amazon Kindle. But at a much more higher price. But they put like the very first, I think, good OLED screen on a tablet first appeared on the Mini because it was used for reading and all that. Many people, the application was for reading, so that still exists. But now the difference between the iPad Air and the regular iPad is kind of confusing. because the iPad Air has the M1, but the regular iPad has the A16, which is 2 generations older. So it's a confusing product now. The whole line has become confusing now. So the only thing that's really clear for people to purchase is you either get a mini or you get a Pro. You know, that's the only. But if you want to get a box standard iPad, which one do you get? Do you get the Air or do you get the standard iPad? And if you look at the specs as well, it doesn't make sense. It confuses you even more. So that stuff would not have happened if Steve Jobs was there. He would have been like, okay, let's kill the iPad Air because all the iPads have become super light now. Let's kill the iPad Air. Or can we make the iPad Air even more lighter? Even more thinner, even more lighter? Can we distinguish it further? If we can't distinguish it, let's kill it. Let's just keep the standard iPad line going. Tim Cook is not willing to kill the iPad Air. You see? Same thing with the iPad. Same thing with the MacBook Air. What is the difference between the MacBook Air and the MacBook and the MacBook Pro? MacBook Air has the M1. MacBook has the M1. MacBook Pro has an M1 Ultra. What is the difference there? Like, explain to me. Like, difference. What is the difference? The only difference I see is the price.
Screen sizes, I think. That's the thing. No. The difference are very minute. They're not.
Yeah, they're very minute, but the difference in the price is huge. You go from a MacBook Air. Yeah. You go from a MacBook Air, which is about $2,000 in Australia.
Bro, MacBook Air, if you want a 256 GB, you'd rather just move to Pro.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I think it's a strategy because Marcus Brownlee has a video where he references his book as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where he talks about that the Apple's marketing strategy is to get you to move to
the higher tiers,
the high-end models. That's the whole thing. So I think the reason why the confusion, I don't think the confusion is deliberate, but the choice is deliberate. The idea of offering so many choices to the customer is deliberate, is because they want you to move to the
higher things. Yeah. Look, either way, it's a confusing lineup. So,
it is confusing, and I think the clarity comes when you spend more money.
Yeah, exactly. So they just want you to spend more money. They just want they want more of your money. That's it. And how does a company now moving forward? How will Apple continue to provide that value to customers? Because at the end of the day, it's all about value. The only thing that Apple has going for it is the software. Literally, the only thing. It's not even the hardware. Apple cannot compete on the hardware side anymore. It's the software now. Everything is a software. The iOS software for the phones is rock solid. Okay?
Right.
The Mac OS software, rock solid. I mean, you're on Windows and you've been having some fun recently. So you know what I'm talking about.
One, right? Talking about actually segueing into another thing, that talking about experience itself. I think the software, is experience, and that is, I think, where you kind of start questioning, is that part of reality? Well, coming back to the real thing where things actually matter, there's another interesting bit I want to share. Let's just jump into this video here, bro. Really nice one.
Let's do it.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Freedom Overland channel. Freedom Overland is a company based in Dubai which specializes in building some extraordinary overlanding vehicles.
Look at that. This is what's happening over there, bro. So this channel I just recently came across.
Yeah. They're taking old ass cars and they're just making them into like homes, basically.
Yeah, they take cars and then they customize and they build all these things inside it. So talking about experience, I've actually been around Tasmania in a camper van for like on a 7-day, 8-day trip. And what these guys are doing is taking and turning them into state of art, caravans that you can take into the desert, do a barbecue, be with nature and all that. So what she's doing is, again, we'll stick a link there. She's introducing you to this fucking,
behemoth.
This one looks like a fucking war machine or something. Like,
it's a tank.
There's like a bunker on the road, bro. There's like a bunker on the road. This looks like something.
It's like an
where,
APC, bro.
you know,
it's like an assault vehicle.
yeah,
You know?
it is. Yeah, this looks like suddenly seven
I'm
soldiers
imagining you just
step
press
out
a
of this
button and the Gatling guns come out from the side. It's like
yeah. So she's like showing you all these lights that are mounted on the bumpers and the top, and then she's going to show you, like
Look at the tire.
this ladder that takes you, and there's
The
a door.
tire is the
There's a
height of
whole
my
door
car,
there,
bro. It's like
yeah, I know. And
It's got solar panels.
there. It's got a surfboard. I think there's a snow
that a
surfboard
surfboard?
over there.
It's not a surfboard, bro. It can't be a surfboard. I don't know what that is.
Well, let's listen to her what
I
she's
don't know what
saying.
it is.
Manpower. Tracks.
Oh, those are tracks. Okay.
That's over here,
Yeah, yeah.
which the team has built a specific bracket for.
It's a tracks.
And
It's
over
a
here,
track- it's a
you
track,
have
so
the
if you get
stairs,
stuck,
which
you just
allows
put that
you
under your
access.
tire and the car comes out.
Oh, okay. There you go, man. You can see my knowledge. I'm still more interested. Like, is she gonna now open this up, and that's gonna turn into stairs, right? Then she goes in,
And then and
it's
the reason
either
why they
you
chose
use
a woman is
biometric
to
to
show
get in.
they're showing that even a woman can do it. That whole thing, right?
Yeah, of course, man. It's like don't get me sad.
Okay.
She goes in. I think it's got a fly door and everything in there. And once she's there,
she's in the kitchen. Hang on.
she
Let
talks
this
about-
play out. Let this play out. Okay.
Yeah, check this out.
No need for the voice. It's okay. It's fine. I don't understand.
Sleeping area over here in the front.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
It's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah. I don't know, bro. This is the kind of stuff that so I imagine some more adventurous people are into. I'm not particularly somebody who enjoys this kind of stuff.
Because, mate, you want to stay home and do a fucking podcast. That's what you had.
Exactly, bro. I want to stay home. I want to stay
These
home. Turn on my
people, they wanna be on the
PS5.
road, mate. Look at
Turn
that.
on my PS5.
They wanna
Watch
make
it
a
on
pasta.
my watch play it on my big ass 75-inch television. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
So,
while
I mean,
I'm dreaming,
a lot
why am I
of-
doing 75 inches? 85 inch. Let's just go for it.
Look at that, man. Look, it's got a shower. It's got a fucking Muslim shower. Bro, everything is there. Look at that.
That's good.
It's
man.
pretty. I think I would like to say it's kind of comfortable for two people, but she did mention in the beginning that up to 5 people or something can live in this thing, man.
Does it expand or something? Bro,
It's
I
got
don't
all
think
these
5 people
foldable
can
beds
live
and
in this.
everything that kind of come out.
Bro, that
sink, bro.
that sink shower is better than my sink shower, bro, at home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like the ones that you
Everything's,
find in
like,
restaurants.
clickable and
Bro.
everything. Look at that, bro. So they've added all this, and so let's go. Anyways, this is more for if you're a domestic person, and it's got look at that. So the bed kind of opens up and everything. 2 people here, 1 over there. Coming out. Spare tires. Spare storage. Look at that, bro. She opened it. Oh my god. Look at that. This is some heavy duty shit, bro. Look at that. That tire is so huge.
She's sweating. She's like, oh my god, she's like,
Yeah, this is a bit of a workout, man.
This is
Trying
getting
to
a
show,
workout
off,
for
this, show
her.
off this place. Yeah.
Got some bay windows,
Oh yeah, bro. Check this out.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing just opens up.
Now I can sit inside and get sand in my food, no problem.
That's right. Yeah. How hot is it out there, man?
Maybe
all
this
the-
kind of stuff. Okay, maybe this kind of camper van is okay in a country like Dubai, but
The
in
power
Australia,
generator and everything,
over here, bro, everything is trying to kill you. Okay, animals, and from the smallest to the from the
Australian
smallest
environment is
tiniest
here to kill you,
spider to the largest python, everything is trying to kill you. I'm so scared to go out and camping over here. I'm like, nah, mate. I want to live. I want to live. I don't want to die. So I'm like, nah.
So I think, yeah, I mean, that's another world, isn't it? Like,
It's a completely
I had a
different
mate
world.
at work. He got his package and he got out. And he's working as a project manager somewhere else right now. But he loved traveling, man. He had a Land Cruiser that he had converted into like a camper van or whatever. I mean, you can't sleep in it, but where the back of it was basically a Land Cruiser pickup truck. He converted that
Hilux, you mean? Probably
with an
a
extra
Hilux.
body at the back.
Yeah.
For camping,
Most likely a
and
Hilux,
road tripping and all that. Yeah, and you could sleep in it and everything and all that. And man, he should go all over Australia, man. I mean, that's what he told me. That he would just go and randomly stop anywhere in the middle of nowhere and then he and his kids, his missus, would just open up the whole thing and sleep there, and I mean,
In
some people
Australia?
are really into it, right? They
God
want to be
damn,
in the wild. Yeah. And he said that's the only way you could do it reasonably. Because if you want to travel by plane and not drive yourself to places and all that, it's going to cost you an arm and leg. And that's the reason why people go to Bali,
Mhm.
people go to Fiji, people go to all these other places, right? Why? Because it's cheaper to just
It's
go there
cheaper.
than go to Northern Territory.
Bro, it's cheaper to go there than to go
So-
to Canberra. Canberra, me, my missus, and my son, we were traveling. We went to Canberra. Cost me $1,000, bro, just to go and come back. Whew. $1,000.
But again, I think the contest is being investigated, not for that reason, right? But again, as part of the contest investigation, the panel that was interviewing him
Mhm.
or scrutinizing him, the CEO, the other thing that came up was that you are taking actions that deliberately are stopping the competition to come in.
Mm.
So I think, I'm not sure, but I think we do kind of have a problem
We do.
where competition is not there in the airline industry, and
You know,
that's the
okay,
reason
hang on. Let me
why
explain to
things
you
are so
how.
expensive to travel.
You know,
and
since this is a tech podcast and everything, let me explain to you how that process and the tech itself failed me. Okay, during that whole experience. So we are in Canberra. Okay. Now I am. My flight back to Melbourne is on a carrier called Rex. Okay, Rex Airlines. All right. Rex Airlines have this mobile app, or they have this internet something like it's a mobile website. You're supposed to log in an hour plus before, and you're supposed to check in.
Yeah.
Okay. And I went, so after we did our thing in Canberra, we were like really hungry, so we went to the restaurant to eat. We went to some place to eat, and I'm sitting there waiting for the food to come. I ordered the food, waiting for it to come. While I'm waiting, I'm like, oh, let's just check in. I open the I click on the link in the email. I open that app, opens up. I punch in like all my details, right? Like, oh, first name, last name, date of birth, blah, 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 all that stuff, I get to the very last stage where it says confirm these details, right? And again, by this time, I have entered passport details of myself, my wife, and my child, which is annoying. Okay. Did all that, said check in, and I get a message saying an error occurred. That's it. An error occurred.
Right.
And this is like an hour and a half or 2 hours before we're about to board the plane or get into the plane or whatever. Check in, sorry. Then I'm like, okay, screw it. I'll eat and then I'll look into it. So while I'm eating, I'm like, okay, 20 minutes have passed. Maybe I'll try it now. I tried it again. An error occurred. Then I'm like, okay, now I'm panicking. So now we get to about an hour and a half before we're supposed to check in. And I try it again. And this time it says, check in for this flight has been closed. I'm panicking now. Now I'm sweating bullets. Like I'm super panicking. And I then call the Rex Airlines office, the number that's there, right? Bro. And if somebody from Rex Airlines is listening to this, you guys are the worst when it comes to customer service. And I'll tell you why. Somebody picks up. So after about 2 minutes of waiting, somebody picks up, they say hello, and then they cancel the call. They hang up. And I'm like, WTF? And I call them again. This time I wait for 3 minutes. Somebody says hello. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I have a problem with my Rex Airlines. Yes, sir, how can I help you? Again, how can I help? And then boom. And and clearly you can hear that the call has been closed because you can hear the hand, the whatever, whoever's using it, they're using like an old school phone. So they're actually putting the phone down and you can hear that, when the phone's going down. Yeah. And I think
maybe
furious.
the main people are busy and is routing towards this place here, and this unit doesn't want actually. They're
Whatever it is.
They're office staff or something. Yeah.
Whatever it is. They're saying, how can I help? And in the middle of saying it, they're actually closing it off. They're actually shutting it down. So they're doing it on purpose. I'm furious at this stage and I'm also panicking. So I told my wife, I'm like, look, we can't actually finish our food. We have to pack it up. We pack it up and we quickly get out of the restaurant and we get like an Uber ASAP and we just dart to the to the airport. At the airport, there's a line now to check in for Rex. Okay, I go
That
at the
means
front.
there's all these people who tried doing
All
it
of
and they
them,
couldn't do it
every
again.
single person in the line, they were like complaining that they tried the check-in process and it just failed them. And there was this one woman who was like right up the front, and she said she was screaming at this lady. She was saying that, like, you know, if you guys cannot figure this out, then why do you have this? And tell your service professionals, whoever's like your customer service people, that if when people call and when you say hello, that they're supposed to respond before they like, you know,
Yeah.
they hang up the phone. Bro, she was furious. That woman was super furious. And it's really scary because, you know, if you have paid for a ticket and it says, oh, check-ins are closed, what are you supposed to do? Like, you know, it was scary. Like, and we eventually got on the flight. So we got onto the Rex flight. Everything was fine. But bro, that whole communication between when you're supposed to check in, the technology failing, then the customer service failing, it was like a failure along the entire chain, except right at the end. Because at the end, it's the airport that's handling it, you know. The airport is the one that's
I think
actually
the
checking
reason
you in.
why, one of the main reasons, there are many reasons for things to fail, but I think the reason why things don't come back online quickly when things fail is because there's no vertical integration.
Yeah.
You know, the
100%.
kiosk is made by a different manufacturer, the
yeah.
software on it is a different company, and the support again is a different company offshore somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's just too many silos.
Too many silos.
And the company itself who's running the airline, they have no way of getting to the bottom.
They
of it.
probably Rex
They're relying
probably
on their
hired
partners
Rex
to deliver
probably
on it.
hired a partner, like a third party, like, you know,
Yeah.
fulfillment
Which is
partner just
outsourced,
to-
which is
yeah.
outsourced the support as well.
Which is outsourced to Philippines or something like
That
you know.
party is outsourced the support as well. That's
Yeah,
what's going
exactly.
on.
It was bizarre, and it was the most furious, like it was the most infuriating experience of all time. And I said, okay, next time I'm not gonna be that cheap and pay for Rex. I'm gonna just go for like Virgin.
Dude, one of
and
our
just do that.
mutual friends, right? He said that, I asked him, like, bro, how much money one should have?
Mhm.
And he said you should have enough money so that you can travel business class whenever you need to, first class. That's all much money you need.
10
Which is not
grand
that easy,
per
but-
person.
Yeah, so you need that much money in your life so that every time you travel first class, not economy.
That's
Economy
his
is for
version of
peasants.
reality, bro. That is his version of reality.
That is his version of reality. That's a luxury belief, yeah. Oh, man.
Anyway, bro.
I mean, peasants, man, but economy, man. A fat guy like me right now, it's like, man, like it's hard for me unless it's an Airbus. I don't even fit into these seats anymore, bro.
No, bro.
Either I'm getting fatter, or these seats are getting. Either the seats are
Either the
squeezing
seats
down.
are getting smaller or
I'm
you're
not sure
getting
what's
bigger.
going on, man. Because I think they are also adding more seats per aisle as well, per lane as well. Like I
Are
think
they?
there are more seats now as well.
No,
And
I don't
back
think
in the
so.
day
I
when
think
we
it's the
used to
same,
travel,
bro.
I remember. No, back in the day when I was younger, when I was traveling, the planes were obviously. Again, I think it's a completely different topic where the airline industry, how much innovation has happened in since the 90s is not much.
I think the Airbus
keep doing
and
the
the
same thing again and
787, the Airbuses and the 787 are the only innovations that have happened.
Actually, talking about flight, there is innovation coming, but planes are not doing it. I mean, the manufacturers are not doing it. We land on this one. You know who's doing it?
Tesla planes, you're going to
Tesla
fly.
is doing it. Tesla is doing it.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah. So
That was a complete guess,
just trying
by
to
the way.
figure out how I can. I'm just gonna share this.
So
I
now,
haven't downloaded it.
self-flying airplanes can just crash into other airplanes in the sky. That's fine. It's totally fine. And batteries can explode. Batteries can
Yeah.
explode mid-air, like you just have no option
Let me show
to
you
save
this.
yourself. How many people are gonna die, bro, because of self-flying airplanes? How many people are just gonna die?
Check this out. So
I'll
Sawyer
check it.
Merritt is someone I follow quite a bit, and
Qatar Airways has SpaceX. Oh, there we go.
Qatar Airways has now made an agreement with SpaceX, Starlink Wi-Fi is going to be on board at no extra cost to every passenger at 350 megabits per second.
Oh my god, that is faster than my home internet.
That's right.
man.
Yeah, so that's faster than our home internet. Once this, it says Qatar Airways promises once this service is active, passengers will be able to enjoy ultra fast Wi-Fi speeds of up to 350 Mbps.
VPN access.
Gaming. VPN access, bro.
You can put your own
guys,
VPN on
time
the
to get
damn
on
thing.
all that porn. VPN access, sports streaming, and whatever. So now they've completely cut out the whole middleman. They've cut out the whole. Can you imagine the in-flight entertainment market?
Bro,
What's gonna happen?
it's gonna be destroyed completely. People are just gonna bring their
It's
own
gonna get
iPads and that's it,
man. When everybody just bring your own iPads.
Because
or
I
they'll
hate
provide you
those
with a
in-flight
tablet that you
entertainment
can hire.
units, man. I hate those freaking in-flight entertainment units.
I hate them with a passion.
You cannot see
You have
anything,
to worry
bro.
about headphones.
It's like no.
You have to worry about and I'm
It's
sure when
the
these things
freaking
go
LED
wrong, when
screen,
these-
the units, the freaking LED screen that they put in there, bro. You
the
can barely
headphones,
see
bro,
anything,
The
bro.
headphones itself.
The headphones are shit. Yeah, I know. They have that freaking
the whole
proprietary
navigation,
3-pin
everything.
like
That's what I'm
thing.
saying.
It's
There's
so
no
bad.
innovation that's taken place in that area. I mean, this is. I think we
Bro,
should have
since I
opened
was
with
a
this.
kid,
This is getting started now.
I vividly remember when I was like 12 years old, we went to India to visit my family, and it's the same damn 3-pin connector, bro. It's the same shit, okay? And I'm sitting like there this time around with my son, and I'm like, God damn it, this
They've
is how
allowed,
to
I think,
improve this
Bluetooth
crap.
headsets now. You can connect your AirPods now, I think, on the new Airbus and everything. But the in-flight entertainment,
It's just
from a
bad.
company point of view, you have to deal with the content delivery. You have
The
to
content
deal with the
creators, yeah,
servicing of the
delivery, yeah.
content. You have to deal with the licensing of that fucking
Rights,
thing,
yeah.
and the millions of dollars that
Yeah.
they're probably paying in deals, right? Once you cut all that out, the customer is going to just use your own Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
You know?
You're already paying for it, so might as well use it,
Probably
right?
there's going to be cost cutting as well. They'll probably save a lot
Yeah.
of money as well, but they'll not pass that down.
Do Qatar Airways go to Singapore, bro?
Right? Huh?
Do Qatar Airways go to Singapore? I'm thinking of like traveling to Singapore sometime next year. I'm like, I want to just probably look at whether or not they go to Singapore.
Yeah, especially if your kid, you got a young toddler and
Oh,
they
hell
need to
no,
be
bro.
kept engaged, and the iPad is the only way.
He needs Bluey, bro. He
Right,
needs his
you know,
Bluey, and
I
he
mean,
needs
at the
his Paw
moment-
Patrol. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, at the moment when I travel with my boy, to keep him engaged, I need to download all that YouTube content.
Yeah, I
using
know.
The app.
There's so
onto
much
the
pre-planning
iPad.
that you have to do. Oh,
Yeah,
bro,
man.
bro,
So-
they go, bro. Oh my God, yes, they go to.
Yeah, but just hold on to your pants,
Oh
man.
my
Just
God.
just
Oh, when is it?
don't-
It's not there until next year. is
Yeah,
it?
but we don't know when it's gonna launch. There is
Far
announced the
out,
deal,
man.
dude. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
I was like, I'm gonna get on the plane
I
right
don't see
now.
it as simple as switching. I don't see it as simple as flicking it on. They might need special hardware that needs to be installed and manufactured
Mm-hmm.
with the help of Starlink to be put on board. It's going to be a very different kind of a receiver and Wi-Fi operationing compared to the one that we are
Mm-hmm.
using. Dude, they're using it regionally here in schools now.
Yeah, I know.
Schools are
I
using
saw that. Yeah.
regionally.
Yeah.
So, all companies are basically going the route of switching over to Starlink rather than use anything. I mean, I don't know.
Deepika
man,
Padukone is
NBN.
the brand ambassador for Qatar Airways. Yeah, geez, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, 'cause a
I
lot
just
of
saw
desi
her
people
face
use
all
the
over the thing.
flights,
I was like,
right?
what? What
A
this
lot of
woman
desi
doing
people
on there?
use it. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
Good for her, man.
interesting. Good for her.
Yeah. All right. So,
bro.
but yeah, that was a nice bit, about the whole, see if we can make into that upper echelon of the middle class where we can travel business class.
Yeah.
And hopefully Qatar goes to
Maybe another 20 years,
Singapore.
but yeah, if we're still
Yeah,
alive.
another 20 years maybe. Yeah.
Oh, but by then inflation will
So,
kill us again, so it doesn't really matter. Unless I don't know, we discover a new type of technology that only we have access to, then we can be freaking multi-billion billionaires. They're like, oh, Zaki boy, come here. But no, not gonna happen.
All right, man.
All right.
Until
See you.
next week, over and out.
See you, boy.